Within the halls of the legislature, civilization renews its covenant with justice, shaping law not merely as a command, but as the enduring testament of human reason and liberty.
A very good morning, Honorable MD Sir, Principal Ma'am, Honorable teachers, and all my dear students. Today's assembly is going to be presented by the students of class 11I on a theme that lies in the very core of the democratic system, the legislature. But to understand the importance, let us peel back the layers of time and go back to an era where power, greed, and chaos led to destruction of humans and humanity. An era where government systems did exist, but they were neither as modern nor as structured as the ones we rely on today. Yes, I am indeed talking about the tragic Indian epic, the Mahabharata.
At the center of this epic lies a bitter conflict, a war caused not by fate, but by the failure of proper rules and governance. The royal throne of Hastinapur became the battleground for deceit, manipulation, and a complete breakdown of justice, where limitless love for blood relations overpowered rules and laws. Instead, personal vendettas, blind ambition, and selfishness decided the fate of millions.
But what if things had been different? What if there had been a system of clear and fair laws, impartial courts, and transparent decisions? In today's world, we have constitutions, democratic institutions, and an independent judiciary designed exactly to prevent such disasters. Where such disasters are prevented through debates and laws, not egos decide the fate of a nation. The Mahabharata stands as a warning. It reminds us that without proper legislative framework, a nation falls into chaos. But with a proper strong legislative framework, it provides peace, progress, and fairness to all the people. Now let us start our today's assembly with a prayer.
So please rise, join your hands and close your eyes and get ready for the prayer. Where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake.
Thoughts are like arrows. Once released, they find their target. Now let us call Akshay to present the thought of the day.
The thought of the day is, the end of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. Thank you.
Legislators are the architects of nations tomorrow. They draft not just bills, but the blueprint of our future. Next up, we have an informative group discussion on legislature in India.
Good morning, everyone. Today's discussion is on legislature in India, its roles, challenges, and importance. So let's start with the basics. Udit, can you please explain what legislature is?
Thank you, moderator. The legislature is one of the three pillars of democracy, along with the executive and judiciary. Its main role is to make laws, debate national issues, and represent the voice of the people. Each pillar supports the other.
But how do they keep the democracy running?
That's a good question. The executive implements the laws made by the legislature and the judiciary interprets them to ensure justice. Together they maintain balance in governance. But how did this whole system begin in India?
That's a great question. The legislature has its roots in the British period, when laws like the Indian Council Act and the Government of India Act introduced representative assemblies in India. Of course, those were limited and controlled by the British. But after independence, we took that foundation and built a legislature that is fully democratic and accountable to the people of India.
Exactly. Today, our legislature is bicameral. It includes the Lok Sabha, Houses of People, which is directly elected by the citizens, and the Rajya Sabha, Council of States, which represents the state. This structure balances how populations and regions work together.
Besides lawmaking, the legislature plays a crucial role in budget approving and monitoring government spendings. This directly affects development in sectors like education, health, and infrastructure.
But there is a one major problem of political disruptions. We always see that there is always a clash between the ruling and the opposition party. So don't you think that it creates the problem for creating laws?
Absolutely, it does. Many important bills get stuck in endless debates or watered down because of political compromises. It really makes you wonder, are legislators working for the public or just for their own political interest?
That's a fair question, but I think there is a still positive side. Through the regular elections, citizens have to power the whole legislature accountable by voting out those who do not perform.
During question hour in debates, the ministers must answer questions promoting transparency and accountability. And this isn't just at the national level. Even in our own state, Rajasthan, the Vidhan Sabha, our legislative assembly, conducts debates and passes laws on matters such as education, health, transport, etc.
Yes, and in fact, the Rajasthan Vidhan Sabha often discusses issues very close to people's lives, like water scarcity, agriculture, and farmer welfare. This shows how both parliament and state legislature works hand in hand, one shaping national laws and the other focusing on local needs.
That's an important point, but there are still more challenges like the dominance of major political parties and the sidelining of the opposition voices, which sometimes weakens the quality of debate and representation. When all perspectives aren't heard, the sense of democracy, the idea of collective decision making starts to fade.
In such cases, the elections are reheld and the winning government forms the government.
Coming back to where we started from, the Mahabharata reminds us of what can happen when there is no justice, when power is the sole law, and when silence by the wise lets the unjust rise. The court of Kuru, which should have served as the server of truth and justice, failed due to ego, greed, and fear.
But now times are different. Our constitution guarantees equality before law. Our legislature enacts rules for everyone, irrespective of how powerful the individual may be. And our judiciary makes sure that justice and fairness never fail.
So that begs the question, what if the Kuru Sabha had worked like a modern legislature? If there were laws to safeguard women, guidelines to control power, and discussions to resolve conflicts equitably, Draupadi would have never been insulted. The Hastinapur throne would have never been turned into a dice game, and maybe the Kurukshetra rivers would have never flowed blood red with war.
That is the power of a system in which the voice of the citizens dictates the nation's fate. That is the resilience of a system where laws are upheld. As students of the present and citizens of the future, it is up to us to cherish these institutions and make sure that justice and fairness never fail again. Not in neglect, not in fear, and not in ego. Because where there is legislature, there is law. Where there is law, there is justice. And where there is justice, there is peace. Thank you everyone for your thoughtful contributions.
कविता वह मधुर भाषा है जो भावनाओं को शब्दों में पिरोकर दिलों तक पहुंचती है. Let us now welcome Avi and Kushal for the Hindi poem.
जनता की आवाज है जो शब्दों में ढलती जाती है, विधानसभा वह मंदिर है जहां लोकतंत्र मुस्कुराती है.
यहाँ बहस है सिर्फ शब्दों की, विचारों का युद्ध होता है, न्याय, नीति और नियमों का गुड़ समर यहाँ रोज होता है.
यह नेताओं की कुर्सी नहीं, जनता की जिम्मेदारी है. हर चर्चा और कानून में देश की पूरी तैयारी है.
यहाँ गूंजते हैं प्रश्न बड़े, जवाब भी देना पड़ता है. कि यहाँ गूंजते हैं प्रश्न बड़े, जवाब भी देना पड़ता है. हर बात का लेखा जोखा खुलकर कहना पड़ता है.
सत्ता और विपक्ष यहाँ सत्ता और विपक्ष यहाँ दो ध्रुव नहीं संतुलन है। देश के लोगों की भलाई के लिए दोनों ही अनुशासन है।
विधि बनाने की जो शक्ति जनता ने दी चुनकर, उस शक्ति को संजोए रखना काम नहीं है कम कर। कभी गूंजे जय हिंद यहाँ, कभी गूंजे जय हिंद यहाँ, कभी लगे देश हित के नारे। विधानसभा से ही निकले कल के सूरज सारे, विधानसभा से ही निकले कल के सूरज सारे। धन्यवाद।
Laws just don't appear out of nowhere. They go through a process from an idea to a rule that in later shapes our nation. So, the students of our class 11th I are going to present a skit called the Public Examinations Act.
Scene 1. The problem.
Every year, millions of students face unfairness in exams. Cheating, unclear evaluations, no way to challenge mistakes. Where is justice for us?
Don't lose hope. Justice may take time, but it always finds its way. In our country, when people are faced with a problem, it is up to the legislature, the voice of the people, to bring a change. And right now, a bill is being discussed in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, a bill which promises fairness and transparency in exams. Let's see how it all unfolds in the Parliament of India.
Scene 2. Introduction of the bill in Lok Sabha.
Honorable Speaker and fellow members of Parliament, today I present the Public Examination Bill, a bill that promises transparency, fairness and accountability in our education system. No child should suffer due to faulty evaluation or corrupt practices. It's time for change, it's time for justice.
The bill shall now be introduced and proceed to the first reading.
Scene 3. Heated debate in Lok Sabha.
Hold on, Kushal. Do you realize how costly this will be? We already have many schemes to manage education. Why create a new law now?
And where will the extra funding come from? How will remote areas implement it without collapsing the system?
With all due respect, Akshay and Lakshita, this is not about cost, it is about the future of millions of young minds. How can you put a price tag on child's right to fair education?
Perhaps some amendments could be considered.
I welcome reasonable amendments, but I will not compromise on the core principle of fairness.
Enough debate. All in favor, raise your hands. The Lok Sabha passes the bill by majority.
The bill has to go through another House of Parliament when it gets passed from the first House of Parliament. Scene 4. Rajya Sabha, the final test.
This bill is a beacon of hope for the students. It gives fairness where there was doubt. I suggest let us not delay it any further.
I agree, the bill is important. But one question, what if a student wants re-examination? Then the process must be clear, or else there will be confusion.
That's a fair point. We can add clear rules for re-examination. But remember, our goal stays the same. Fairness for every student.
This Act makes the rules and regulations clear and strict. Any type of cheating or tampering with the examination system can lead up to 10 years in jail or rupees 1 crore fine. It protects the honest students.
Well said. If the amendment is accepted, I support the bill.
Members, it's time to vote. All in favor, raise your hands. There you have it. The Rajya Sabha passes the Public Examination Act.
Scene 5. Presidential Assent, the final step.
I have carefully read the Public Examinations Act. This is a historic moment for our country. I hereby give my assent. Let the Public Examinations Act become law.
Scene 6. Happy ending. The voice of hope.
Today the system is fairer. Today my voice is heard. Today hope shines bright for every child in India.
And that is the true power of our legislature. It turns the voice of one student into the law of an entire nation. Because when laws are made for the people, by the people, democracy truly shines. Thank you.
Every song is a story told not just in words but emotions wrapped in melody. Now please put your hands together for a soulful melody by Amya. A poem captures our deepest thoughts and dreams, transforming pain into beauty and the mundane into magic. Let's welcome Raghav and Avi to present an English poem.
In halls of marble, high and grand, where voices rise to shape the land, a solemn oath, a sacred trust, to serve the people, fair and just.
The people's voice, the voters' will, through every echo lingers still. No tyrant swim, no selfish plea, but truth and justice, bold and free.
For law is more than paper thin, it guards the weak, restrains the sin. Corruption lurks, temptation calls, yet duty stands in these great halls.
Not swords nor guns, but wisdom wield. The wisdom is the nation's shield. For reason's flame and vision's art, they forge the laws that bind the heart.
Through every storm, they hold the frame of liberty's enduring flame. Each act they pass, each word they say, can light or darken freedom's way, can light or darken freedom's way.
And when their life may go on, but their lives should go on. For vision's art.
So let us honor those who stand to shape the fate of every land. For in their hands our future gleams, the dream of all, democracy's dream, the dream of all, democracy's dream. Thank you.
यथो हस्ता तथो दृष्टि, यथो दृष्टि तथो मनः, यथो मनः तथो भव, यथो भव तथो रस.
That beautifully symbolizes the grace of the Indian classical dance. Now let's all enjoy a mesmerizing classical performance.
बाजत मीरदंग तिरवट शूल
When instruments are played, heart listens because music needs no translation. An instrumental performance is not just heard, it is felt in the deepest corners of the soul. Now please welcome our talented students to the stage as they enchant us with their musical brilliance.
That was indeed an excellent performance. Now let us welcome Yitanshu as he prepares to delight us with a melodious Hindi song.
If the legislature is the voice of democracy, then the dance is the heartbeat of soul. Where legislature gives direction to the nation, dance gives direction to the soul. Next up, we have a lively dance performance, so please put your hands together for the group dance.
शायद हमसे नहीं होगा. Maybe we are just not meant to fly.
नहीं, हर सपना टूट कर ही बनता है जब तक हम उसे जोड़ते नहीं.
तो चलो कदम से कदम जोड़ते हैं, सपनों की राह मोड़ते हैं, मंजिल चाहे जहां ले जाए, हम साथ में दुनिया जोड़ते हैं.
आठ समंदर अपना अंबर खोज ले अब तू अपने दम पर, फूक मार के धूल झाड़ ले, छोड़ छाड़ के सारे छप्पर. आठ समंदर अपना अंबर खोज ले अब तू अपने दम पर, फूक मार के धूल झाड़ ले, छोड़ छाड़ के सारे छप्पर. खोल दे पर, 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 खोल दे पर.
इतना इजी नहीं है. फिर से कोशिश कर. कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती.
छोड़ा है जहान नीचे मैं तुम्हारे अब हूँ हवाले. अब दूर दूर लोग बाग मीलों दूर ये वादियाँ. फिर धुआं धुआं तक घर बदली चली मैं मिला नहीं, ये खिला तो है मैं खफा नहीं। शहर एक से गाँव, एक से लोग, एक से नाम, एक फिर से उड़ चला मिट्टी जैसे सपने ये किताबी पलकों से झाड़ा फिर आ जाते हैं। इतने सारे सपने क्या कहूँ, किस तरह से मैंने तोड़े छोड़े हैं। क्यों तेरे साथ चले कि उड़े ये क्यों।
यार मुझे लगता है मुझे छोड़ना पड़ेगा।
नहीं यार, चल हमारे स्कूल में सीसी डिपार्टमेंट है, वो तेरी हेल्प करेंगे।
कांधे पे सूरज टिका के चला तू, हाथों में भर के चला बिजलियां। कांधे पे सूरज टिका के चला तू, हाथों में भर के चला बिजलियां। तूफान भी सोचे जिद तेरी कैसी, ऐसा जुनून है किसी में कहा। बहता चला तू, उड़ता चला तू, जैसे उड़े बेधड़क आंधिया। बहता चला तू, उड़ता चला तू, जैसे उड़े आंधिया। मंजर है नया, मंजर नया, मंजर है नया के उड़ रही है बेधड़क सी आंधियां। मंजर है नया।
सपना उड़ने का नहीं था, सपना था खुद पर यकीन करने का।